Another one that'll love the conditions and does like this track. Face of it has a bit to find, but I thought she was going to run well last time out, but the ground wasn't quite as testing as you maybe would have thought going into the meeting that day, and she still ran okay.
Kinross, first and second in the last two runnings of this race, is favourite to complete a fine season for Rafe Beckett and Ross O'Ryan. Here we go for the champion sprint.
Sprinters set to go, they're off, and last year's winner, Art Power, the grey, got away to a very smart start with Swing Along for company through the early stages. Bucanero Fuerte in the purple jacket towards the right is also prominent, so too on the extreme right, Flora of Bermuda from Beauvatier. Kinross getting cover towards the right, just behind Kind of Blue with Vafortino and Vadream. Towards the left, Audience leads the way to elite status. Should have been a ring ridden along, and then Anaf going quite well, chasing the leaders down the centre are also Unequal Love, and further back in the field Chartash, and then towards the rear of the field Vafortino. Kinross with a lot to do at the moment. Beauvatier just ahead of him. James is delighted, the back marker, and Montassive towards the back as well as they race on towards the final 2 and a bit furlongs, and it's Audience on the far side, challenged now by the nose banded Anaf, then Mill Stream, followed by Should Have Been a Ring. Down the centre, Swing Along from Kind of Blue, then Spycatcher, Flora of Bermuda as they race on towards the final furlong, and it's Kind of Blue on the near side of Swing Along. Flora of Bermuda, Beauvatier is sticking on well as well inside the final furlong. Kind of Blue the leader, Beauvatier trying to come between him and Swing Along, and on the near side Flora of Bermuda, and up to the line Kind of Blue from Swing Along. Kind of Blue has won it from Swing Along. Flora of Bermuda on the near side of Beauvatier, then Montassive, further back is Spycatcher, and Kinross making late progress.
What a race this has been for one equine dynasty. His dam, a half-sister to two previous winners, the Tin Man and Deacon Blues, and Kind of Blue has upheld the family honour in style in the colours of Watnan Racing, who stepped in to buy this horse at the 11th hour. James Fanshawe has trained this horse as well as he did the others, and James Doyle is the man in the saddle today. Swing Along second again. Your heart bleeds for Swing Along, so close in so many top level sprints. An excellent run in third place from Flora of Bermuda, and never nearer than at the finish. Beauvatier, the French challenger, was fourth, and they were clear. Kind of Blue wins the British Champion Sprint. Another for James Fanshawe.
17, 13, 20 and 19 the draw of the first 4 home lucky, so the higher drawn horses have ended up dominating the race, but they all came across away from the far side to race more towards this side, the smaller groups sticking right to that far side, and the eventual winner and runner-up never too far away from the gallop in the end, were they? They've kind of tracked through last year's winner, Art Power. Show Along is always there, but the winner not too far off that. Beauvatier is the one that's made the ground from a little bit further back, as he did in France over further last time.
Yeah, and just didn't quite go on with the effort. The eventual fourth is just to the inside of the eventual third, Flora of Bermuda, who is in the sort of mauve colours, and the eventual fourth, Beauvatier, in the maroon colours with the grey striped cap. Over on the far side, Anaf giving it a good go. He's coming back into form. Swing Along, I mean, just run another massive race.
Yeah, a huge race. Again, that Group 1 record is really, really good, but also probably frustrating for her connections, but she definitely looks like she can go on and win one. Montassive going on late. Does he quite grab 5th at the line? I think he does, but he just got caught a little bit too far back as the race went. He had a lot of ground to make up, and he couldn't quite get there.
1 minute 17.22 is the winning time, and that is the slowest time since Gordon Lord Byron in 2014, 1:17.30. So
what was it last year? Last year was 1:16.
1:16.92 last year, so a fair bit slower than last year. 1:17.22, second slowest time since this race has been run on this straight course at Ascot on British Champions Day.
Yeah, so it's hard work. Kind of Blue bred to enjoy those conditions, and always travelling really quite takingly. The first and second really did catch the eye with how they travelled, didn't they?
They both travelled up beautifully. Audience, it makes sense to run him over 6 furlongs given the way he's been running over 7, but as you said, he just can't quite establish the same rhythm and dominate sprinters like he can horses over further.
Kinross is another one that makes ground from a good way back. You can just see him on this side of the shot. Can't quite get into the race, but it probably hasn't quite gone his way. The pace has just held up a little bit too well. Bavatier is definitely the one that you'd be marking up, given where he came from.
I wonder, and I really fancied Bavatier today, and I know Nev did as well, at Lydia as well. I just wonder if he's the sort of horse who's a bit of a sucker punch horse, draws you in every time.
Yeah, he could well be, but then he's moving through Group 1 races very comfortably, and he's got the ability to put one on the board. I think it hasn't quite worked out for him, but it might do another day.
I think that after the first 2 races, we can conclusively say the ground is very testing on both tracks, and maybe even a shade more testing up the straight than it is on the round.
Yeah, which is what you would expect anyway, because that's been watered through the course of the year, and you know it's the inner track has been saved, and it won't be as slow as the straight track.
Interestingly, Kieran Schumacher rode Vadream, who is a horse who absolutely loves the mud, and he's described the ground as heavy. So it's gonna be pretty soft. William Buick likewise. How does that affect the way you look at the rest of the day? Does it affect the way you're thinking about the Champion Stakes, particularly with reference to Calandagan and that rapier turn of foot relative to Economics, more kind of muscular style?
Yeah, it's really tough to actually sort of balance that up, isn't it? Because Calandagan has form on officially this kind of ground, but he improved when he got on really quick ground. Economics hasn't got it, but he looks like a horse that should be okay to handle it, so we'll see.
He's come a long way in a very short space of time, but he's bred to do so. In the colours of Watnan Racing for James Doyle, it's victory in the champion sprint for Kind of Blue. Not if you backed him, because the odds were quite rewarding.
Yeah, weren't they just? And bred to win this race, quite as you said, only a 7th career run. So